Hello and welcome back to TUTV. I'm Anderson Bell.
And I'm Angelica Ortiz.
Let's jump right in with this week's top stories. The Supreme Court is poised to deal a major blow to mail-in voting that could dramatically shift the results of upcoming U.S. midterm elections. Previously, politicians on both sides of the aisle have argued over the legitimacy of mailed ballots that arrive after Election Day, and whether ballots that are postmarked in time should be counted. Justices in the Supreme Court during oral arguments have seemed dubious of a law in Mississippi that allows ballots postmarked by Election Day to be counted up to 5 days late. This could mean a ruling against mail-in voting before the midterm elections, and because Democrats typically vote by mail much more than Republicans do, such a ruling could have a significant effect on election results later this year.
The Oklahoma Senate unanimously passed a bill raising public school teachers' salaries by $2,000. This figure was originally $2,500, but it decreased after the negotiations. This bill and the senator's proposals to pay for it have led to criticism from education officials, who are concerned with the proposals to use some money in the teachers' retirement system to provide tax credits to private school families. Other senators, such as Adam Poe from Edmond, see the funding increase as a step in the right direction for teachers regardless.
On Saturday, the 28th, protests against President Donald Trump erupted across the nation, including here in Tulsa. This marked the second time of the No Kings protest, in which thousands of Americans came together to proclaim their allegiance to democracy and the democratic process. While many attended the protests to vocalize their opinions on the Iran war, Israel, ICE, the Epstein files, and other key issues that have made the current administration controversial, the protests were primarily designed in opposition to the president himself, pushing back against his sweeping use of executive power and claiming he believes himself to be a king. While these protests have yet to successfully mobilize popular change, many remain hopeful that their representatives will see their discontent and push back against Trump and his allies.
Last Thursday, the Association of the International Students and the Student Activities Board put on their annual International Bazaar. The event featured a flag parade, performances, and a fashion show, and free food. The Association of Black Collegians was in attendance and performed dances that spanned 3 different decades and genres of Black culture.
Airport delays are expected to continue after Congress failed to agree on a spending package for TSA, ICE, and the rest of the Department of Homeland Security. Republicans in the House of Representatives rejected a bipartisan agreement, while Democrats in both chambers remain mostly united against funding for DHS without institutional reforms for immigration enforcement. House Republican leaders, including Speaker Mike Johnson, struck down an offer from some Republicans to withhold funding only from immigration agencies. Other bills that include such funding have passed the House, but remain deadlocked in the Senate without Democratic support. President Donald Trump is seeking to pass an executive order to pay TSA workers immediately. This is likely to be met with legal challenges.
This Friday and Saturday, country music star Zach Bryan will perform at Chapman Stadium with his show album with Heaven on Tour. Friday classes after 2 p.m. will be held online or asynchronous to accommodate the concert, with other student centers such as McFarland Library and the Student Testing Center closing early. However, the largest disruption is the loss of parking space for certain students. The La Fortune and Mabee East parking lots closed late last week, and now a section of 8th Street is directly in front of Chapman Stadium is blocked off. The commuter lot is the best alternative for most affected students, although space is severely limited during weekday business hours. When asked about the lot closures, La Fortune residents expressed frustration, but with some mixed feelings.
We already paid for our parking permit, and we can't use it for over a week. I don't like it. I want to park in my freaking parking lot. They need to let us park here because we literally go to school here.
Are you going to the concert?
Yeah, but let me park here.
Exactly. Hot take. I can't complain because I'm going to Zach Bryan, and they got to set up somewhere. So I'm okay with it. It's temporary. And the school's making money, so.
Last week, La Fortune residents and other affected students received emails and paper slides on their car announcing the changes. Concert teardown is slated for Saturday night through Monday morning, and the students hope that things return to normal by early next week.
Well, Angelica, lots of stuff with the parking lots. I know I park over there, and it's been a little frustrating. I'm too scared to leave the commuter lot and give up my spot till the concert happens. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, as a commuter, I find it really frustrating to find that the commuter lot is completely full. I see a lot of people parking in a lot of parking spots that aren't really parking spots. And I think that's, it's going to be really difficult these next couple of days for sure.
Absolutely. Might be worth it in the end, but it's a pretty big inconvenience for the week leading up to it. So we'll be excited to see if the concert ends up being worth it.
For sure, yeah. We have lots more exciting campus news coming up.
Plus, a review of Ryan Gosling's new movie Project Hail Mary. We'll be back after this.
Hi, and welcome back to your TUTV weather. I'm Carter Reed, and we're going to go ahead and start right off with our 7-day forecast here. Things are going to be a bit stormy this evening as we have a 30% chance of severe weather moving through the area. Looking ahead to Thursday, cooling off just a little bit into the lower 80s. But as we're looking to Friday with the Zach Bryan concert, we do have about a 90% chance of some serious severe weather moving through the area. That's going to be bringing damaging winds, large hail, and a chance of tornadoes. So those of you with Zach Bryan concerts, keep those fingers crossed, but it's not looking great right now. Moving into the weekend, it'll be a slightly wet start. Saturday will be about 30% chance of showers in the morning, clearing by the afternoon to clear skies. As we move into Sunday and the rest of the week, we will see a little bit cooler than what we've been having lately, mid-60s to low 70s, but clear skies finally returning to the area. I'm Carter Reed, and this has been your TUTV weather.
Howdy and welcome back to the desk. I'm Bruce Bigler.
And I'm Luke Montemare. We have some exciting campus news this week, so let's jump right in.
Last semester, for the Making TUTV class, students were split into groups to create long-form investigative journal pieces. So far this year, we've shown you the story on public art in Tulsa, and now we bring you the second of these pieces, an investigation into the scams that plague the group chats of clubs all around campus.
University of Tulsa is suffering a scamming problem. MacBooks, concert tickets, parking passes, all of these things are being promised by random accounts in TU group chats. They just aren't real. And they take place on GroupMe, the platform of choice for many clubs and organizations on campus. TU Two-Step, Ultimate Frisbee Club, Badminton Club, there's a chance that pretty much any campus-wide GroupMe has at some point been infiltrated by these malicious accounts. And the major consensus from students on campus is utter annoyance.
The bots in the groupie chats are so annoying.
They're annoying.
They're so annoying. I actually can't stand them.
But who's running these accounts? How are they getting into group chats? And how do we know they're actually scams? Well, first we have to start from the beginning, which was the Activities Fair. Among other things, the University of Tulsa's Activities Fair is an opportunity for students to get more involved in clubs and organizations. It takes place every fall semester at Dietler Commons, where club presidents and organization leaders host tables all around the area. They have flyers, posters, and QR codes for students to join their affiliated group chats. Unfortunately, students aren't the only ones joining. As university-approved group chats are searchable through GroupMe and are typically open to all, pretty much anyone can get in unless settings are changed specifically. And as a flood of users enter group chats around the same time, it's impossible to know who's legit until the scammers out themselves with very similar messages across the board. And by looking at 10 different club group chats, this graph shows the amount of scam messages that have appeared in each of them since the Activities Fair in September. Clearly, some group chats are more affected than others.
I just made a whole new group chat. I couldn't figure out the issue, so...
This is Tammy Nguyen, president of TU Women of Color Collective, the organization with the highest number of scam messages.
Made a whole new group chat and made it private. Made it harder for people to join, which unfortunately is harder for other students to join, but it's also harder for the bots, so it protects the group chat more, but it does have some drawbacks.
Clearly, these scams are a big problem on campus, but in order to truly understand how to avoid them, it's worth finding out how they actually work. And to do this, we interacted with the scammers and analyzed their accounts while also paying attention to their behaviors.
They're creating accounts with ordinary, believable names. Some use blank or default profile images, while others steal photos from unsuspecting users on GroupMe or Instagram to look legitimate. The scammers join the group with their fake profile, post an offer in the chat, and leave it in the group or are kicked out of the group by an admin.
And before they get kicked out, there's a chance each of these scammers will be able to attempt their schemes in the chat.
These schemes fall into three major categories, the first being concert tickets. Scammers claim to have tickets for sold-out shows, often at a reasonable price, pushing buyers to purchase what they are offering quickly.
Whether it be tickets for Billie Eilish or Tate McRae, concert ticket scammers become noticeably sketchy when they ask for your student email specifically.
They don't specify why they would need your student email specifically, but it could indicate that they would want to use your email for student discounts or to gain sensitive information about you or the school that you attend.
However, not all ticket scammers ask for student emails, as others simply request Apple Cash. This is what happened to TU student Quincy Taylor, who paid a scammer $600 for 4 concert tickets after thinking her payments weren't going through.
And so I messaged him. I was like, oh, hey, I'm interested. Like, how much? And they said, like, probably I think like $200 for like all 4, which in my head I was like, shoot, that's a great deal. And they were like decent seats too. Like, they sent me a screenshot of where the seats were. So like, I had no reason to believe it like wasn't really legit. So I did. I sent him $200 3 times because I kept getting a text back saying, like, from a different number saying like Apple Cash like not something like not authorized or whatever. That was until it started posting in my bank account, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I got scammed. If my account wasn't low, I probably would have just kept going and going. And so then I called Apple care, and they were like, well, we can't really do anything. So I was kind of just like out of luck, so I was out $600. Just don't give random people money. Like, don't trust anyone. Like, I know it's a private school. That's why I thought I trusted it, because I was like, there's no way like a random person or a scammer or hacker can like get in a private school group chat. It's way easier than it looks, apparently. If you want tickets or something, just go on an actual website and do it. Just don't get tickets off GroupMe. That's all I really have to say about that.
The second is the promise of free MacBooks or other high-value electronics.
Typically, the MacBook scammers send a message saying it's in perfect condition, and they're only giving one away because they're nice people, and they just bought a new one so they could just give their old one away to help someone in need. When you actually text the number attached to their message, they immediately ask where you are located. And it doesn't matter where you say you are, because they're just going to respond saying that they're in a completely different location. Even though this is a Dallas area code and I just lied and said I'm in Texas, that's unfortunate because they just moved to Casper, Wyoming. The MacBook will still be free, but I'll just have to pay shipping costs. So I just lied and said I'm actually located in Casper, Wyoming, and I could come pick it up from them whenever. But they never responded, because they never planned on giving me a free MacBook anyway. It's all just a front to make some quick money through shipping costs.
And the third is a paid job or opportunity promising quick cash for minimal work in exchange for upfront payment or banking details.
This one is usually through a bot claiming they're an artist and they want to use your pictures in a mural that they'll pay you for. The only picture they'll have access to is your profile picture on GroupMe, so like, why not? This would make a great mural. If you ask to see their work, they'll send you AI-generated pictures claiming that they made them, but essentially the scam boils down to how much personal information they can receive from you. They'll ask for your first and last name, then they'll ask for your email, then banking details, then your phone number. If anything, this is one of the most problematic scams on GroupMe, as they are clearly trying to collect as much information on you as possible for fraud or identity theft, which really puts TU students at risk. But it turns out TU students actually aren't the only people experiencing all of these scammers on GroupMe.
Kinsey Stotts, a current Oklahoma State University sophomore, is currently dealing with the GroupMe scammers.
My experience with the GroupMe bots, scammers, is just being in multiple clubs and organization GroupMes, as well as like church GroupMes, and people are just constantly trying to sell concert tickets to like whatever concert's currently happening or about to happen, or even their sports passes to some of the sports games. Those might not be bots, but they are scammers, I'm sure. So
Faith Gatley is an OSU alum, and she had issues with GroupMe scammers in her college experience as well.
I'm Faith Gatley. I went to Oklahoma State University. I was the main person in charge of my club's GroupMe, and I constantly had to report and kick out scammers. We actually had one individual scammer use our vice president's name to sell a concert ticket, and luckily we were able to catch that and kick them out. But it looked credible to anyone who didn't know that person individually.
In addition to preventing these scam bots in the future, we suggest clubs and organizations who use GroupMe to update their privacy and permission settings as follows. For the privacy settings, changing who can join from everyone to approved members only. Changing visibility from anyone to hidden. That way only those who have access to the QR code are the ones that can join. For the permission settings, changing who can edit the group from anyone to admins only, just for added measure. Although these changes do make it harder for actual students to join, it's better than having any scams in the group chats. Just remember, you probably shouldn't buy anything off of GroupMe, and if it seems too good to be true, it definitely is.
Making TUTV will once again be offered this fall and will be able to fulfill a Quad 4 requirement. If you're interested in joining TUTV, make sure to enroll in the class, which will meet from 3:30 to 4:45 on Mondays and Tuesdays next semester.
In entertainment news, tearing up the box office last week is the sci-fi adventure Project Hail Mary, crossing $300 million last week. Directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the film stars Ryan Gosling as an amnesiac astronaut who befriends an alien rock as both try to save their species from extinction. TUTV's Michael Searles and Carter Reed join us to share their thoughts on the film in our new Movie Minute.
Hello and welcome to our first ever Movie Minute. I am Michael Searles and I am joined by Carter Reed. Today we are talking about Project Hail Mary, released March 20th, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, known from work on the Lego Movie, producers on some of the Spider-Man animated movies, but based on a book by Andy Weir that came out in 2021, same Andy Weir who wrote The Martian.
Correct.
I've seen The Martian. I love The Martian movie. I have read the book. I have not read Project Hail Mary. So, Carter, I know you have.
Well, so I've read all of his books, The Martian, Project Hail Mary, Artemis. And I think, this is a similar situation to what we saw in The Martian, where it's very faithfully adapted, There are elements here and there that are cut, but I don't think anything was really cut out for the movie that took away from the plot overall or any of the characters' arcs individually. There were a few extraneous scenes that maybe I would have liked to see in the movie, and I understand there's a much longer cut that they had to work from.
Yeah, I heard, I read that initially the first cut was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yes,
which I think it's about 2.5 hours in the final cut, which is about the same as The Martian. I thought it was paced pretty well.
Length. I agree. Yeah, there's a scene in the books where they nuke Antarctica, and I was really hoping that made it.
That would have been really cool to see.
It would have. Can't win them all.
Yeah, but great movie. The effects in particular stood out to me a lot. A big talking point around Project Hail Mary has been that they did not use any green screens for anything. All of the interiors on the spaceship were practically designed.
You're talking about some of the elements of visual effects. I thought the practical models that were built for so many aspects of this ship itself were just breathtaking.
And James Ortiz, too, the puppeteer for the Rocky, the little alien rock character who has captured all of our hearts. Great work from him. I'd be interested to see what they do in the future. I know Andy Weir has another book.
Yes, Artemis. I understand that's being looked at for a film.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that it comes out as well.
Fingers crossed. We'll keep our eyes out for it. Well, this has been your first Movie Minute. We will send it back to the desk.
Kane Careers is always working to help students grow professionally. TUTV's Andreas Lynch takes us to their latest event on campus.
Last week, Kane Careers hosted Countdown to Connections, a series of events meant to help students with their future careers and job applications. I decided to check out some of them, including the Closet Raid, where students could get one free business outfit, and Networking Basics 101, a presentation and practice activity for the upcoming networking night, which is actually tomorrow, April 1st. We got the chance to practice an elevator speech with each of the members of Kane Careers, and we got feedback on that and a presentation on how to keep our nerves in check when talking to someone like an employer. I thought these events were really valuable for really anyone because everyone's going to need a job sooner or later, and it's good to get those basics down now as a way of standing out in the crowd of people looking for work. Remember that Kane Careers Networking Night is on Wednesday, April 1st from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Great Hall. For TUTV, I'm Andres Lynch.
Tonight at 6:30 p.m., visit Chapman Lecture Hall for a free screening of the Oscar-winning historical drama Hamnet. The event is organized by the Office of Resilience and Belonging in collaboration with the Women and Gender Studies Department. Additionally, WGS has extended the deadline for their student essay contests until April 6th. Essays written for TU during the 2025 calendar year are eligible, including work from non-WGS classes. Students can submit in one of three categories: WS 2013, General Undergraduate, and Graduate classes. You can find a submission form on the TU events calendar and reach out to Jennifer Jones for any questions.
Tomorrow, April 1st, TEDx University of Tulsa returns to the Lorton Performance Center from 6 p.m. to approximately 9 p.m. With the theme Unravel, this year's talk seeks to bring unique ideas and perspectives to a particular field, although themes are frequently interdisciplinary. The event is open to the public and free for TU students. On March 24th, Professor Jerry McCoy presented what might be his final physics demonstration at TU. The event had a variety of educational talks, fun demonstrations using physics, and various audience participation segments. The show was a great conclusion to the staple of TU's events. On Thursday, the Red Cross will visit campus to host a blood drive, with donors receiving a free T-shirt. You can make an appointment online, but walk-ins are highly welcome. Much like previous blood drives, they will be in the Student Union alcove from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Our new segment, Restaurant Review, continues, this time with a fishy focus. We go to TUTV's Andres Lynch for more.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another restaurant review. This week, I'm checking out the White River Fish Market, a fish market and restaurant with 2 locations, one in Tulsa and one in Broken Arrow. There was a really nice interior. I liked all the old newspaper clippings and posters on the wall. There was a funny statue inside that I liked. And I liked the aesthetic of getting to see all the fish around the store. I went with 2 of my friends and we had some different things, and here we are to tell you about them.
I got the broiled dinner, I think is what it was. It was shrimp, scallops, and tilapia. I liked it a lot. The oysters were not a good move. I should not have purchased those. They tasted like you licked like the bottom of a boat, kind of. It gave boat bottom vibes. And the fish was good. Right, clear. The actual dinner was good. I love this place. So, a solid 8 out of 10.
So I got the orange roughy and some salad and rice. The salad and rice was pretty good. The rice was actually pretty nice. I liked it. They had a little bit of vegetables in it. You know, just pretty good, pretty good. I always like seasoned rice, but the fish itself, wonderfully seasoned. It was very, very juicy. And overall, I had a very good time.
I had the broiled gulp shrimp. It was really good. They had a really good seasoning. It tasted very juicy. I had some hush puppies, and those were really good. I like hush puppies, and they did them really well. And I had fried okra, which was very good. It's better than fried okra at other places, so I like that. And then the raw oysters, I mean, based on how you saw me react, I'm sure you can tell what I thought of those. It was good overall, though. I would come back again. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
For TUTV, I'm Andres Lynch.
You know who else likes seafood? Turtles. Take it away, Anderson.
Thanks, Luke. And for today's album on Anderson Bell's Music Minute, we're going to be reviewing the album Blue Sky and the Devil by Trampled by Turtles. Now, you might have been expecting me to review a Zach Bryan album, but Trampled by Turtles is the opener for Zach Bryan, and I figured I'd go in a little bit of a different direction, give some exposure to a band that people might not have heard of. So Trampled by Turtles is a bluegrass-influenced group from Duluth, Minnesota, and their second album, Blue Sky and the Devil, is an incredible work. There's got incredible high-energy shredding on the banjo throughout. You would just not believe it. Some of my favorites on the album are Blue Sky and the Devil, the title track, The One to Save, and Silver and Gold, as well as Dog on a Leash. Each of these show the different songwriting prowess as well as technical prowess of the group, and I would say this album is a great introduction to Trampled by Turtles, and an even better intro to bluegrass as a modern genre. Overall, like I said, it's a very strong album. Even though it's not my usual wheelhouse, it's got me really interested in the genre and eager to listen more. And it's gotten me really excited to see them live this Saturday. So overall, I'm giving it an 8.3 out of 10. You should definitely give it a listen.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to. I'm particularly excited about the Hamnet event. My Shakespeare professor has been urging the whole class to go see it, so.
Sounds exciting. I might have to give it a watch as well. But if you guys are interested in movies and television and being a part of it, here at TUTV, obviously we do a lot of good work in that sphere. Next semester, we are having the Making TUTV class. It'll actually be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3:30 to 4:45. But it's a great way to get experience in this realm. It's a lot of fun. I know I've grown a lot, and I'm not even part of the class, but I still get to drop by and help out. So it's a wonderful way to hone your skills and try new things. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We'll see you next week for more exciting events and updates about campus.
Thanks.